Let's not beat around the bush. Pixar's Lightyear, for all intents and purposes, flopped upon release. It underperformed domestically, and it underperformed internationally. Not just because 14 countries around the world blocked a theatrical release altogether, although that did not help, but because it opened to middling numbers in every single territory where it did open. That then leaves the question, why did the audience suddenly abandon a beloved franchise where each of the 2 previous installments both crossed $1 billion at the box office? What went so wrong here? The real answer to that question is so painful and induces so much cognitive dissonance that Hollywood simply don't want to hear it. But hear it they shall, for in this post-mortem, I will begin by going through how the entertainment media complex is trying to spin this, before exploring the real issue here, and finally what repercussions will come of this. Scott Mendelson is technically a writer for Forbes, but very much so part of the same circle of industry writers as those working for Deadline Hollywood, Variety, and The Hollywood Reporter. You know, the ones who will do the studio's bidding, and you can totally tell from his breakdown on what went wrong here. He must have started working on his defense already when Thursday preview numbers were in, because already in the morning of Sunday, June 19th, he wrote an article titled Box Office. Lightyear failed to learn the lessons of Solo, a Star Wars story. Get ready for the Chewbacca defense, for he writes, Lightyear, Pixar's first full-throated global theatrical release since Onward in March of 2020, opened with a mediocre $50 million over its Friday to Sunday frame and around $55 million over the Juneteenth holiday weekend. A close approximation to Solo, a Star Wars story which stumbled hard 4 years ago, earning $394 million on a $275 million budget, which essentially put the kibosh on post-Rise of Skywalker future Star Wars theatricals. Oh, there's more to it than that, Mr. Mendelson, but as we shall see, he has to run cover for something else. But now having established just how badly Lightyear really did, and a ground for comparison, Mendelson feels the need to first and foremost establish what absolutely could not have been the problem. It wasn't online controversy over a same-sex kiss between 2 married non-white grandmothers. Jurassic World Dominion and Doctor Strange 2 both have non-white lesbian characters, with the Wonder Wise being a major character in the former. Do take note of that, because Mendelson is missing something vital here, which I will get back to. But Mendelson is not done with establishing what the problem was not. Nobody cares that Patricia Heaton accused Disney of castrating Buzz Lightyear via swapping out Tim Allen for Chris Evans. The loss of the marquee actor associated with the character may not have helped, just as Kathleen Kennedy might argue that swapping Harrison Ford for Alden Ehrenreich was an issue for Solo. Wait, what? So which is it? Did it not help the movie, or did no one care? Because those are mutually exclusionary positions, only one of them can be true. But Mendelson is not done challenging the truth. With Solo, a Star Wars story, nobody wanted a prequel origin story action comedy based on the co-lead of an established cinematic brand featuring a different and mostly unknown actor in the role. It wasn't Star Wars fatigue. It wasn't bad marketing. And it most definitely wasn't because online trolls spiked the SEO-driven narrative for the acclaimed, crowd-pleasing from CinemaScore 1.33 billion grossing The Last Jedi. Of course, never miss an opportunity to defend The Last Jedi, Hollywood's ideologically pure golden calf. Conveniently ignore that it opened within striking distance of The Force Awakens, but finished its run with 700 million less. Conveniently ignore that it marks the spot where the arrow started turning downwards for Star Wars. And conveniently ignore that while few wanted a Solo movie in the first place, fans were walking away in droves because of The Last Jedi when Solo happened to be released. It was compound damage started by the ideologically driven The Last Jedi, which killed post-Rise of Skywalker movie theatricals for Star Wars, not Solo. But reality is hard to admit sometimes, and that is what we see here. Because now that Mendelson has established what absolutely was not the problem, I can break down what in his view really was. And the word salad to come are his exact words. 2 years of Disney teaching its consumers to watch its big-budget tentpoles for free or at home to own for the price of a few tickets on Disney Plus is exactly the long-term problem I warned it would be. When you offer acclaimed high-quality Pixar flicks at home, but then offer one that, while well-reviewed, is generally considered to be inferior and pitched more at adults in theaters, families might just decide to wait until Minions: The Rise of Gru in 2 weeks or Thor: Love and Thunder in 3 weeks. When will this be available on streaming? The first big question for your big movie. You're shooting yourself in the foot theatrically. So, in short, according to Mendelsohn, the reason Lightyear bombed is that even if it's a theatrical exclusive with no digital release date announced, meaning you have to see it in theaters, audiences will wait for it to hit Disney+. But while they wait, they'll see Minions in theaters when it opens in a few weeks. If you thought that explanation was somewhat weak, you can rest assured it is because it was. That is what happens when you run cover and deflect from the real issues. Let's revisit those issues that Mendelsohn was so quick to dismiss as irrelevant. In an interview with Reuters, published the week of the movie opening, star Chris Evans had some choice words for everyone who had an issue with the movie's, shall we say, diverse messaging.
Whenever you do something about representation or diversity or whatever, there's always pushback. How would you counter that, I suppose?
Well, the real truth is those people are idiots. I think throughout history you can see every time there's been social advancement as we wake up. The American story, the human story is one of constant social awakening and growth, and that's what makes us good. And when that happens, there's always going to be people who are afraid and unaware and trying to hold on to what was before. But those people die off like dinosaurs. And so, I think the goal is to pay them no mind, march forward, and embrace the growth that makes us human.
I would say to those people, just like with Buzz, refurbish your idea of tradition. Understand that it's to infinity and beyond. It's time to move forward. It's time to accept and look and enjoy all the faces that have always been there. You know what I mean? They always been a part of the picture. You just try to paint them out. So that's also what this is about. It's about this is what it looks like. This is what it's always been, and to infinity and beyond.
Yes.
As it turned out, calling fans idiots is not the best way to go about it. Especially not when most people wanted Tim Allen anyway. Remember, Buzz Lightyear was created around Tim Allen, and he is every bit the actor that Chris Evans is, and for Buzz Lightyear, it is Chris Evans who comes across as the cheap knockoff. Evans does touch on something though. Let us now revisit that Mendelsohn quote I said would be important later on. It wasn't online controversy over a same-sex kiss between two married non-white grandmothers. Jurassic World Dominion and Doctor Strange 2 both have non-white lesbian characters. I said before that Mendelsohn missed something vital. Let us now see what that was. Mendelsohn dismissed the same-sex kiss on the grounds that it wasn't an issue in Jurassic World Dominion or Doctor Strange 2. But unlike those two, there are two more sides to the same-sex kiss in Lightyear. The first is the implied message the movie seeks to convey, and that is why the movie was banned in 14 countries, not the blink and you'll miss it kiss. The kiss is incidental. The core issue in the countries where it was banned is that the movie's narrative revolves around a lesbian couple who become pregnant and have a family, thereby rendering a father obsolete. And on top of that, a would-be father figure, Buzz Lightyear himself, in a sense becomes the villain when his mission threatens to remove the situation in which the couple could come together. Even if they had cut the kiss, the movie would still have been banned in those 14 countries for its perceived anti-father and anti-family messaging, in a movie that came out on Father's Day, no less. And this isn't an issue in just the 14 countries where the movie was banned. No, even in some countries where the movie is being released, there are warnings that Lightyear is an ideologically driven piece of propaganda. Compounding that, unlike Jurassic World Dominion or Doctor Strange 2, Lightyear is aimed squarely at children. That would be the second issue, because remember, I said there were two. Combine them, and we arrive at what I submit is the real overarching problem. The perception of Disney as a producer of children's entertainment that parents can trust. There was a time, not too long ago, that parents knew that pretty much anything released under the Disney banner was appropriate for children. There was no need to quality check in advance. Just put on some Disney content in the background, and parents could trust that their kids would be out of their hair for a while, without having to worry about what they were being subjected to. Now, however, that perception has shifted, or rather, it's been shot to hell. If you've been watching our earlier videos, you'll know that in conjunction with the Florida bill, Disney's activist employees staged an uprising against CEO Bob Chapek, because he had the audacity to try to shift the company away from ideopolitical activism and back towards political neutrality. That whole incident got a lot of coverage, and leaked videos of Disney creatives bragging about the not-so-secret agenda they were putting into children's entertainment went viral. Does everyone know about this, or even care? No, not everyone does. But many enough do know and do care that when it is combined with a movie that serves as an unwanted remake of the year 2000 series Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, it is going to make an impact, and that is exactly what we see here. A significant portion of the audience that normally would have gone for a Pixar movie sat it out. They didn't wait for reviews or word of mouth or anything like that. No, they simply rejected the movie unseen. So, what will this mean going forwards? WDW Pro over at that park place did an excellent breakdown which you should head on over there to read in full, but here are some highlights. When the history books look back at this period of time in film, Lightyear will have wiped out Pixar as it is currently constituted. Expected originally to make more than $100 million in its domestic debut and more than $1 billion in its full worldwide release, Lightyear has released to an utter thud. Consider that Disney may be looking at a film that only does something like $300 million total worldwide. If that is its final resting place, Lightyear will lose as much as it seems to make, $300 million. Even huge corporations can't afford to lose those sorts of numbers more than on rare occasions. That means this is untenable going forward. Whatever made Lightyear fail can't happen again. The problem for Disney and for Pixar is that the failure of this film is squarely on the culture of those who inhabit Pixar. As an example, the same mistakes are on the docket for Strange World, the next theatrical release for Pixar, and the people at the studio are unlikely to accept defeat by pulling the problems out of the movie. That means a fight is brewing, or if Disney is so lucky, a purge. Disney has become a deeply politicized and divisive company. The people who regularly said, "Fine, go watch something else," are finally getting their way, then standing in stunned silence as they try to rationalize why an audience didn't materialize. The real reasons for why Lightyear has failed are simple. You do not need a PhD or an inside source to understand them. Disney became political and alienated half their customers. Half their customers, or less, came to Lightyear. This backlash has been largely hidden until now by streaming. Disney management has likely seen this trend before the public saw it loud and clear via the box office. The cleanup for Disney will be hard. The company is overtaken with a California culture that is wholly separate and distinct from the rest of the country and even most of the Western world. And I'd like to add in, let alone the rest of the world beyond the Western. What do you do when your studio is filled with people who don't know how to avoid their core beliefs because their core beliefs are at odds with most of the world? It's a serious societal problem for the United States, but it's certainly a present financial issue for Disney now. The one good thing for Disney and its attempts to moderate the company: the next time CEO Bob Chapek makes a demand of Pixar, the studio has absolutely no leverage to stand up against him. The strategy and the vision Pixar and others in the company held just as recently as 1 week ago are now an utter failure, totally repudiated, and done so in full public display. The pendulum has shifted. The near future isn't woke. That means we'll deal with the shrieks of true believers, i.e. the creatives at Disney, but the case is closed. Star Wars is hobbled. Marvel is moving downward. Pixar is pummeled. And all of it is a result of believing the world was willing to go woke along with them. But as they say, get woke, you know how it goes. And now Hollywood is learning too. Or that is, the numbers guys in Hollywood are learning. The creatives who care nothing for the financial health of their employer will fight hard to double down. And if their employer has any sense, those creatives, every single one of them, and every last executive who enabled them, has to be let go for their trouble. That is the repercussions that has to follow from this. Disney has to go back to political neutrality, because the corporation can't afford not to. Every Disney employee who opposes that has to go the way of lead instigator Peter Rice and be fired. If you agree with that assessment, please smash that like and help share this video. If you haven't done so already, please smash that subscription bell as well and indicate you want notifications on all videos, so you don't miss out on future analysis like this one or other videos we do, like ultimate retrospectives on classic films. If you have smashed that subscription bell before, then please take a moment to check that you are indeed still subscribed and still set to receive notifications, as this platform does have a tendency to unsubscribe regular viewers without their consent. With that, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments.